Hey guys, welcome back to Daska Discusses. Well, in a couple of weeks' time, The Mandalorian Season 2 gets released on Disney+, so I thought, you know what, I haven't actually reviewed Season 1, and as a Star Wars fan, I've reviewed, all the films of Star Wars, not Rogue One and Solo, but I thought, let's give a review on Season 1, The Mandalorian. It's a year late, but you know what, who cares? Let's do this. Now, The Mandalorian came out October 2019, before all this whole Corona business, and there's 8 episodes there, which, as a Star Wars fan, we were a bit wary, I guess you could say, because of, we're not going into The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and all that, because this was fresh and it was a bit different. So, it follows, obviously, the story of the Mandalorian, who is, one of the most famous and if not most notorious bounty hunters of the galaxy. FYI, there's going to be no spoilers in this, because in case you haven't seen it, but I'm going to give you a rough overview of the show itself. Now, the show, obviously you got the bounty hunter, the Mandalorian, who is played by Pedro Pascal, who is also in Game of Thrones as Oberyn Martell, the Viper, love him, and he's also in Narcos too, but he plays a really good role. You don't really see his face too much, obviously because he's got his mask on, but other key characters are Grief, played by Carl Weathers, or Apollo Creed from the past, and then you've got other ones like Kara, played by Gina Carano. I think she's a UFC fighter as well, and then there's some other cameos which we'll talk about. So the whole premise of The Mandalorian, doing certain jobs, starts off kind of like an old western. I really love that first episode, but then he gets given a contract from Werner Herzog, who is the client. Now, Werner Herzog, in case you don't know, is a famous director, and I thought, that's a pretty cool cameo. The Mandalorian Season 1 is full of really cool cameos from other films, TV shows, and even like little cameos on Star Wars itself. The cameos in the show, there's plenty of them, so when you're watching it, you'll be like, oh my god, that's the guy from, that show or that movie, etc. But in terms of the show itself, it's well paced in a way, and obviously the key thing is he gets a job from that, like I said, Werner Herzog, or the client, who is ex-Empire, or is Empire, so it's kind of like in that bracket of red that it's after, obviously, 30 years after Return of the Jedi, so there's remnants of the Empire still around, and he's given a job to, the Mandalorian's given jobs to do, and obviously the client, Werner Herzog, gives him this job to collect the child. Now, we find out that the child looks, as everyone knows, Baby Yoda, really cute. Here he is here. He's pretty cute, obviously. And he does the job, but then he's got a few issues about returning him, because obviously he gets attacked by other multiple assassins that want to kill the child as well, or take it from him, so he kind of doesn't go through with dropping it off. I can't really say much more than that, but what I can say is that I was really entertained by the show, but I think episodes 4, 5 and 6, which I think were very similar. Now, I know you're going to say, well, that's the whole point, is a bounty hunter is given jobs to do, etc. But I just found episode 4, 5 and 6 to be pretty much Mandalorian is given a job, goes to one planet, does what he has to do. Next thing, it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, goes to the next planet, does another job. It's kind of those 3 episodes are kind of very, very similar, and I found that the character development for Mando, the Mandalorian, is a bit weak at some points. I mean, you find out about his past further on in the season, so my only gripe is probably episode 4, 5 and 6. However, saying that, probably my second favorite episode, apart from, my first favorite was probably the last episode, but my second favorite episode is episode 6, which is known as Prisoner. And what that is about, that's where you've got cameos from Bill Burr, Natalia Tena, Clancy Brown, and Richard Ayoade. And if you don't know who they are, well, you can look them up, but you'll know. That episode is pretty cool. It's kind of like a mini kind of heist, or not a heist, but kind of like an extraction of a prisoner on a rebel prison. It just kind of screamed to me like A New Hope a bit. And moving on from that, the show itself, apart from a couple episodes which kind of are a bit stagnant, and that's just my opinion, guys. Apart from that, I really enjoyed it, and especially the finale and how it ended was pretty awesome, and I'm really looking forward to season 2. It's a shame that I didn't actually review this earlier, but it's here now, guys, and my recommendation is, if you have Disney Plus and if you're a Star Wars fan, 100% you gotta watch it. But even if you're not a Star Wars fan and you're just into kind of cool action TV shows, you'll enjoy it. So my final rating for Mandalorian, I was thinking around 7.5, but you know what? I'm gonna go at 8 out of 10 for Mandalorian Season 1. Definitely worth a watch, and I'm really pumped for Season 2. Hope you enjoyed this. And as always, guys, if you liked the video, please hit like, hit subscribe if you want to stay updated with my videos, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Daska Discusses. Boom!